Hello everyone, this is umonox, and in today's MPC experiment I want to have a look at how we can fake sidechaining on the Akai MPC Live. Now, just a quick side note, this video will be a bit longer and so I have added kind of like a little index in the top of this video. So you see the topic I want to talk about and where it starts in minutes and seconds, so you can skip to it. Okay, so first things I also have to mention about this, we have to work with resampling on the MPC because currently we have no sidechain compressor or anything or an effect which can produce the sound at hand, and therefore it's a little bit kind of a destructive workflow, so to say. But I must admit there would be a much easier way to achieve this if we would have kind of like some different waveforms on some effects we have. And before we get started, I quickly want to show you a method that would be totally cool if it would be properly implemented. So first let's go in here and let's go to the samples and find a kick. Basically preparing that. Choosing this one. Yet again, this is what happens all the time. I always forget to assign those. Now it's in. Good. Let's reduce the sequence to a bar so it's easier to quickly bring this in. And now let's hit double length 2 times so we have a 4-bar loop. Okay, fine. Now this is what it sounds like. Pretty standard. Now let's go to a second track and let's find an instrument. Any instrument would fit, I guess, for this demo. Oops. Yeah, come on, let's use this Rhodes. Yeah, and now with this in place, I switch the octave. And I just want to quickly jam something in so that we have something to work with. Let's go. Quickly quantize it. Okay, so there is an effect inside the MPC Live which is called the tremolo, and the tremolo is modifying the volume, and I quickly want to show you this. If we go, come on, let's do this from the main screen here. Here's our program, and if we go inside, you can see phaser, reverb, large and everything. And in this list at the bottom there's a tremolo, and this comes in 2 versions, tremolo and tremolo sync. And tremolo sync is exactly what we would expect. It's synchronizing those volume on, volume off, so to say. So we select this one, and if we go in and edit this thing, and here we can set a mix amount between a sine and a square wave, and if we turn this up to 100%, you can hear that we get some kind of a sidechain effect, but it will be wrong. Have a listen. So basically what happens is the square wave is starting at 100% and is then going down the moment the sequence starts, but it has to be the other way around. So it should normally start at 0 and go up to 100% to achieve this sidechain effect. But sadly, as you can see, it's not possible to change this behavior. So there are 2 things that we would actually need. We would either need an additional parameter here, which allows us to set the start phase for this waveform, so we can make it happen that it starts at 0 and goes up to 100, or we would need inverted versions of those waveforms at this point to make it happen. So if I want to use this method to do the sidechaining, I would have to go to all of my other tracks which are starting at the beginning of the sequence, and I would have to shift those tracks more or less to the right a little bit for 2 steps, so that it starts the moment this waveform is at 0. So I will quickly show you what this means for us. we have those nodes selected right here. I hope they are all selected. Yeah, they are selected. So I'm taking them, say edit start. Let's keep this on nudge, and I set those. Let's see what happened. Yeah, here's the screen. That's a little bit weird here. So 2 steps. And now what we can hear, now the kick drum starts at step number 3 and not at step 1. So now we have a sidechain effect. Have a listen. And we can go in and modify it. But this method is obviously not nice, because for every track that we have to shift them to the right a little bit for exactly those 2 steps. And the actual sound that we have is starting before. So the Rhodes starts before the kick comes in. And yeah, maybe we could work this out, and maybe we could get around this by modifying the volume, automating the volume in the first place. But yet again, this is not so nice. So this would however, this would be the method that would be totally fine if we would have those waveforms, those different waveforms, or a waveform phase selector, so we can select the start phase. If we would have this on the MPC, we would have our sidechain with ease. Yeah, but sadly it's not possible. So I want to show you how this works with the help of resampling. But first, something on my own behalf. If you like this video, if it helped you out, you can head over to my Patreon page and have a look at it, and maybe think about supporting my work. And this would be really, really great. Because I want to continue with those videos for you guys, and every little bit, no matter how small it might be, really helps. So if you decide to support me with a little pledge, I want to say thank you in advance. And yeah, so okay, let's continue. Now I want to show you the methods that I would prefer to use. And first, a method which is possible, but is a little bit limited, and this is by using the audio tracks. So let's first go inside and let's mute the kick drum so that we only hear our Rhodes. I have removed this tremolo effect from the Rhodes, so it should sound normal again. Yeah, that's fine. And just a quick preparation that I'm doing right now. I will try to find quickly. Let's quickly show you how this works in the first place. I'm using the sampler with resample set to L plus R, so that I can resample that Rhodes, and I have this threshold down so that I can make sure that it definitely starts. Since we are not recording from any input at this moment, we should not get into trouble with any kind of noise. And I want to capture a close to perfect 4-bar loop, so to say. This is very important for the next thing that we want to do, which is working with drum programs. To make this work, I go up here, and for my time divisions, I quickly set this from beat to time. And now I can move throughout the pattern, throughout the sequence, and see where it stops. And it says 7 seconds and 40 FF, whatever. And now I have to find out how this works when I'm using the sampler and I set this thing to those 7 seconds. Let's see how long the sampler will now record. Let's have a look. Okay, you've seen it has not completely recorded the whole loop. It stopped a little bit before the end. So I turn this up to, let's say, 8 seconds. And let's try that again. Yeah, that's somehow okay, as it seems. I call this thing keys. that seems to be okay. So it's a little bit of trial and error, and it will probably not be a very perfect loop, but close to perfect is sufficient for this purpose. So I've also deactivated the creation of a new program because we want to do this later. So I simply click on keep, and now that I have this, I can go into my track overview and I can mute the Rhodes track and go back and move to the audio track, edit audio, browse for these keys, Rhodes that we have. This is called keys, we've called it keys. What is this? Okay, let's hit on. Also, for this purpose, it's not necessary to decide between beat and time for the time stretch algorithm, because we do not time stretch anything. We are just cutting. So I hit do it. And here's our sample. And if I move this back to the start and quickly bring that kick drum in again, it should sound as we would expect it. Yeah. Okay, that kick drum drag is still shifted from the earlier thing. So let's 1, 2, quickly bring it back to the start so that it's okay again. Yeah, and here comes a very painful process. And within the sample playback, so within the audio track, we have the option to slice this thing up manually. And we need to have our volume close to 0 when the kick comes in, when it should go up again to 100%, to 0 dB, and then down again. So for every hit of the kick, it should duck away. And if we have a look at this marker up here, we can see that the kick comes in at every beat. So what we effectively need is we need 2 slices for a single beat. And this would look like this. So this is the first slice and this is the second. And this is the slice where the kick comes in. So for this slice, I have to go in here and set the volume down to -20 or something, or let's even do -25. And now it would duck away here and go up here. And the same thing has to happen throughout the whole bars, throughout the whole loop. See, it has ducked away and goes up again. So it's really like this, guys. I really have to go in now and have to slice it up like this to make it work. And as this can take quite some time until I'm ready, I will quickly pause the video and be right back when this is finished. Okay, here we go. We are finished. And now comes the next painful process. There is no way to select multiple slices, because if I do something like this, you see I'm actually shifting this thing around. There is no way to select multiple slices, so we really have to go inside and have to select each and every slice and bring that volume down, that level, to actually make it work. So as this will also take some time, I will pause the video again and be right back. Yeah, okay, here we are back again. I've also missed another slice at the back, which I quickly added. So yeah, here we go. Slices are all set. And if I go to the mode, go out of this mode and back here or wherever I want, we now have our sidechain effect. Have a listen. But yeah, this is probably the most destructive and probably also the most painful way of doing it. So I want to quickly show you another method, and this is by using a drum program for this. So first, let's go to our audio track right here. Let's select it and let's delete it so that it's gone. Now we have our X Rhodes still muted and the kick drum is still inside. So let's remove that kick drum for. Now let's actually not mute this thing. Let's stay on this track. Here's our kick. Now I select any pad and go to sample assign and assign my keys. So here's my key sample again. And here now comes the point where I said in the beginning that we need a close to perfect loop to make this work, because now we want to use an automatic slicing method. And for this I go to edit sample. Here's my sample. And right here at the bottom I have trim, and if I tap trim again, I get chop. And yeah, because we want to have even slices, we need even slices to be able to get this kick pattern, this sidechain pattern in. We will do the following. We go to BPM. This is a mode that we want to use, and now we have to define how much slices we want. And here's a little bit of math. Now on the MPC, I don't know if this is true in other DAWs too, but on the MPC, 1 bar corresponds to 4 beats. So if we have a 4-bar loop, we effectively have 16 beats. And I've told you before that we need 2 slices per beat. So we effectively need a sum of 32 slices in total to be able to do what we want to do. So I go in here and bring this up to 8 beats, so that we end up with 32 slices in the end. So now we have what we need. And if I hold Shift, I can see I get an additional menu down here. Holding Shift, I can hit Convert. And now I can tell the MPC, please create a new drum program using those slices I've just created with non-destructive slice, so that we do not create new samples for each individual slice. And I also tap Create Events. This will make the MPC create nodes for all of those individual slices for the course of the loop. So it's basically reconstructing the loop in form of slices. And I tell them, how long do I want this to happen? I want this to happen for 4 bars, because we have 4 bars. Now I hit Do It. Let's go out of the screen now, into this track, and we see we have a new track which was created. It's called Keys with CH added behind it. And now when we hit play, everything should basically sound the same. Let's have a listen. And this is only true, this only sounds the same as before, because we made sure in the beginning with the sampler that we capture a close to perfect loop. Because if the loop would be longer, obviously the individual hits of those notes, everything wouldn't fit because it would stretch. But we still only have 32 slices, so the slices would be longer. It would therefore not fit. And if we now have a look into the grid, we can see this. And this is the representation of the nodes. And now to reproduce that sidechain effect, it's as easy as going up here, selecting that pencil tool and dialing down the velocity. So, whoops. It's even easier to actually work with that way, and it's not so destructive like the one, like the option with the audio track. So, yeah. And we can do even more, and if I play this back now, you will hear that we end up with our sidechain pattern again. That's not so intense at the moment. If I want to do it intense, I obviously can do this, as you see. So we can start like this, and we can go in and gradually move this thing up, and maybe even remove the sidechain to the end, so create kind of a pattern or something. I have no idea. Could be used in a sequence where the kick is going out in that last section here. Could be used for something like this. So you see, it's a little bit more flexible. It's still not so great because we are working with a sampled loop. So we have no way to edit this sound with its very own parameters in the program added right here. So we cannot change this afterwards because it's recorded. But the cool thing about the method with the drum program is, obviously, we have all the individual slices here, and we can edit all those individual slices. So, and that's the cool thing about it. So for each and every pad right here, we can do things like, I don't know, you know, trying something out and just throwing something in and yeah, just playing around a little, you know, just playing around a little right now in some envelope here. Let's have a listen. Let's actually modify it right here again so that it's not so quiet. Oops. I have some trouble. Now it's working again. Yeah, it's a little bit fiddly, but I could zoom in, you know. Yeah. But you get the idea, I think. Could even go in here and yeah, adding an effect like a decimator or something. I think you get the point. I think you get the point, right? So we can in fact do quite a bit more when we do this with the drum program. However, if we want to change our melody for a new sequence or something, we obviously have to do the same process again and record that new melody. And for this we can still keep our X-Roads track right here. And yeah, that's the way to do it. And another way that is possible, but I don't want to show you this right now because I can easily get lost in that situation, is by using the LFO. Now, while we are on this track, I just want to quickly show you what I mean. Right here in the LFO modulation section, we have that LFO. And if we are on a key group program, like we are right now, the default key group programs that are inside the MPC, they have several different key groups for various octaves and notes. This comes through when we go up the octave. You can see up here how it switches the key group. And so the actual notes that are inside, yeah, we would have to modify those, and there's one big problem. The LFO on that MPC is always re-triggering. So no matter what, it doesn't run free. So when I apply it and I have such a note sequence like we have it right here, it will not work. We would need one note which is always starting at any of those bars where you see the bright white lines. It has to start right where. Oops. So whenever notes are starting in between, the pattern would be incorrect and it would be no sidechain effect. And also the problem in this is the waveform saw can be used for that, and it has to be synced to 1.4 to make it work. But yeah, there are several problems with this one, because the thing is, if we do not have long notes, we won't hear it that good. And also another thing is, even if we have, almost, I'm on the wrong track. It's just, whoops. Actually, I don't want to bother you with this that much, but the thing is, if we do not have a long note, it will not work. So I will try to replicate the effect. Let's bring this up to the amplifier. And you can see here's one problem that I cannot even hear how the LFO is affected. And if I switch the key group to all and do the same thing, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And yet again, it's switching the key groups here. I'm not so sure if this is my fault or if this is a bug in the MPC. I have no clue. But anyway, this LFO thing, I would simply not recommend it. It's more trouble than anything else. Okay, so as I said at the beginning, if we would have those synchronized waveforms on the tremolo, if we would have more of those, inverted versions of them, or at least a phase selector, so we can select the start phase, we wouldn't have to go into all of this in detail. We could just simply use this, simply use such, we could just simply use that simple tremolo sync right here and could use this to produce our effect and just the way we want it. But unless Akai is not editing something here, unless we do not bring something new to the OS, currently it's not possible that way. So we have to work with sampling. However, if you found any other method to do it, it would be great to hear from you in the comments. Anyway, for now, I want to thank you guys for watching, and it was great to show you this, and I hope this video was a little bit useful for you, and yeah, I would say I see you guys in the next videos. Bye!